Good afternoon and welcome to another Brown Girls in the Rain book club. I'm your host, Anika, and that's Shranja, and we are the Brown Girls in the
Hello.
Rain. Today we will be discussing Lakshmi's Mooch by Shelly Anand. How do you pronounce the last name? Anand?
It's
Shelly
like
Anand?
Anand. Anand, like
Anand?
the first A is like a soft A, so Anand.
Okay, so it's Shelly Anand. Anand. And illustrated by Nabi H. Ali.
Who's Tamil, by the way? But I didn't know that until I read the blurb at the back.
So,
But yeah, this is the
as
summary.
usual, Sharanch is going to give us the summary. It's a short book, so the summary won't be that long.
No, it won't be that long. But yeah, so Lakshmi's Mooch is the story of a young Indian American girl who learns to accept her body hair. Up until an incident at school, Lakshmi never really thought about her body hair. Like she was aware of the fact that she had a few little hairs above her upper lip, but she didn't know that that was something she could potentially be made fun of for. It was just something that was a part of her. That changes when one of her classmates points out her upper lip hair and says it reminds her of a cat. And because of that one comment, it shakes her whole self-esteem, her whole self-confidence. She even starts analyzing all the other hairs on her body. Like she becomes hyper aware of the hair on her arms, her legs, her knuckles, even the hair that's between her eyebrows. So she ends up thinking, like, am I not normal? No one at school looks the way I do. So what ends up happening is she goes to her parents and she ends up having a conversation with her mom about why she looks the way she does. And this is one of the most important things that a parent can do for their child. Instead of reacting negatively to what Lakshmi is saying about her body hair, her mother goes and tells her story about powerful women who have little mustaches above their lips just like her. She creates a whole community of women for Lakshmi to look up to and say, hey, that person looks like me and they were able to do such wonderful things. Like, I think one of the people that she mentioned was Frida Kahlo, who she's well known for her unibrow and being an amazing artist. Yeah, so through these stories that her mom tells her, Lakshmi ends up regaining the self confidence, the self love that she originally had. And the next day, she ends up taking her newfound self confidence to school, and she goes up to the classmates who pointed out her original mustache was her name was Zoe, and she ends up going up to Zoe and saying, "Hey, like I have a little mustache, and guess what? You have a little mustache too. I might be a tiger, and you're a little lion." And it was said in such a kid like innocent way that like you wouldn't feel offended by it. And in fact, like Shelly ends up creating a mustache revolution within the school where people start pointing out their own little mustaches and saying, "Hey, I have one too. I'm cool too. I'm just like Lakshmi." And it was a wonderful way to end off the story, and I felt so lighthearted by the end. Yeah, like you have all the little classmates getting together, and like even the ones without mustaches themselves, Lakshmi ends up drawing a little mustache on them just so they could be part of the club. And you got boys and girls there. Yeah, so beautifully done. And Anika, what did you think about the story overall?
I like this story because like a lot of little kids I think could identify with that, especially like having facial hair or body hair in general, and how our society, it starts from so young, our society saying that a girl shouldn't have body hair, when like in a lot of cultures that's what happens because like just naturally like you have more hair, and it's very empowering to see her accept it. and for her mother to like, even though I found it weird, because a lot of Middle Eastern people, a lot of brown people, they're the ones that are always like threading and like they're very much about like the removal of body hair. I found it interesting that this was the opposite.
Well, what you just mentioned right now, it's more or less Western beauty ideals seeping into our culture and us as a
Hold on,
community
pause,
now
Shred.
trying to.
I think it's echoing because you don't have headphones.
Should I put my headphones on?
Do you have headphones to put in?
I have like the Bluetooth ones, but I don't know if they'll work on this one.
You just have to connect them. It'll work because that's what's happening with mine.
Okay. But is it still echoing? Sorry, guys. Let's see if I can.
It only echoes when I talk because it's like your speaker's hearing my voice.
Okay. Pause. Let me see if I can hook up this Bluetooth thing. I'm gonna try. Using your microphone. I could do a song and dance. Well, this is gonna take a while. But yeah. Yeah, no. There's a lot of Western beauty ideals that have seeped into Eastern culture, like Asian culture, and now we just try to conform to those beauty ideals now, whereas it wasn't our original way of thinking about how women are supposed to look. Bluetooth and other devices. I'm really trying, Anika, but my computer's not. My computer is not letting me. Okay, let's see what happens. What did you think about the art?
Art, very cute, very cute. I liked the use of different shades. So how her mom was dark skinned.
Yeah, I was so surprised that that was how the mom looked, because I'm like, this is the closest I've ever seen anyone look like me in a children's book.
And how the dad is later. I feel like that's also something that like, it was a conscious choice to do that because I know a lot of times within the culture they say that a guy could be dark and get a light girl, but a dark girl can't get a light guy.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing, and just speaks to different beauty standards for men and women, right?
Yeah, and I think it was good to do that. Also, so Zoe or whatever called her a tiger, right? And she could be a tiger.
And then
Oh
yeah,
wait, no,
that was
she
another
said a
thing.
cat. She said a cat,
A
but
cat.
she took it as a tiger. And I liked that because it was reinforced throughout the thing where I guess this looks like that looks like a cat, but as the book goes on, you see at home she's got a little tiger plushie, and then After her mom tells her the story, she dreams about tigers. That she could be a tiger
I like,
prowling through the Sundarbans. And then she tells Zoe that
yeah,
like
like,
I'm a tiger with my long silky mooch. And then she tells Zoe that she could be a lion with her shiny blonde whiskers.
I like the idea that you can take something that in our culture has like negative connotations, like having excessive facial hair, or you know, like a unibrow or a mustache, and that, and then like attributing something up positive to it, like connecting it to a positive story, like what her mom did there. It's kind of like teaching your kid to find beauty in themselves no matter what they look like.
Yes. Also, I loved the use of like diversity within this book as like diversity inclusion. So obviously the main character is a brown little girl, but throughout the book we have a Jewish boy. We have a was it the teacher? Yeah, the teacher is wearing a
Like a
hijab.
Muslim woman. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
wearing a hijab.
We got the little girl with her braids, little black girl with her braids.
Mm-hmm.
Even the bathroom. I don't know if you took this in, but the bathroom is an all gender bathroom.
Yeah, the the author included that intentionally. Like she wanted to have a classroom where there were kids of all genders represented.
As well as
Um,
oh, go ahead.
so I was reading about the author's inspiration for writing this story, and she said that she got the inspiration when one day one of her friends, who is a Pakistani woman, her daughter came home crying from school because she said she was being made fun of for her unibrow. And she was only like grade 1, like she was only 6 years old, and her mom called up Shelly Anand and said, what should I do about this? Should I just go and take her to go get it waxed? Like, what do I do? And Shelly was just like, no, absolutely do not do that, because then that teaches your daughter like her body hair is like unnatural, right? So she instead sent her artwork from this very famous Pakistani artist who, like, her specialty is drawing women in with body hair
Body.
and making them look beautiful. And she also told her to talk about Frida Kahlo, who, like, as you and I both know, she's well renowned for, you know, her non Western appearance, her adherence to like just full on like natural beauty standards, right? And she's also a very world renowned artist, right? So
Yep.
she got the idea from that one incident, but she also remembered being in like grade 4, grade 5, and like having her classmates make fun of her own little mooch, right? And she just decided, like, this is an important story that, like, we need to tell our kids that, like, they need to find acceptance within themselves, and they also have to realize that they're beautiful in their own way. And I just found it so interesting, the fact that, like, at a young age, how our parents react to how we look can set us up for either like success or failure later on in life. Because if I had gone to my mom at a young age, at like grade 6, and I had told her, like, Mom, I'm getting made fun of because like they're making fun of my, like, my chin hairs or my like my upper lip hair. And if my mom had decided to, you know, help me by taking me to like a salon to get it waxed, I would have spent the rest of my life thinking that, like, this is a problem that needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of teaching our kids that it's a problem, we should tell them that it's like it's part of you. It's something that you should just accept. It's beautiful because it's a part of you.
Exactly. Or also teach them that regardless of what people choose, it's okay. Like if they choose to remove it, it's okay.
Yeah. But we should also, so what I thought was interesting, it's the fact that like we should also tell our kids that other people's body hair is not worth you mentioning it to them. Because
Yeah.
that was the issue with Zoe, right? Who was the first one who went out and said Lakshmi's hair was like it looked like cat whiskers, right?
Yeah.
We should also tell our kids that, don't mention other people's hair. Like it's not even a topic worth talking about, right?
Exactly. Don't mention it unless you're complimenting them.
Yeah,
Like if
unless
it's
you're
not a
compliment.
compliment, don't
Mm-hmm.
don't mention it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it also just goes back to like Western beauty ideals because when Shelly goes back to her mom and not Shelly, when Lakshmi goes back to her mom and to like try and get like understanding as to why she looks the way she looks, like her mom did such a smart thing by just telling her, you look like your cousin, you look like your grandma, like I thought that was so smart of her to tell that little girl that she looks like the woman in her family, because then you establish a community of people that are out there who look like you and are going through the same thing and are still able to like live their life and like achieve their dreams.
Yeah, like she says that they come from a long line of women with Mooch.
Kind of like saying you're not alone. There's other people out there who look like you. You're completely normal.
Exactly. Like this whole thing kind of reminds me of the whole like curly hair movement, where it would be like, oh well, you should straighten your hair, but it's like no, you should just embrace your natural hair, however
Yeah.
curly, wavy, or straight it comes out.
Yeah. Like create a reality for kids where they don't have to fix their 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 natural look. And if they want
Hmm.
to, that go ahead and do that too, but it doesn't have to just be one option, right? I just this is going to be like a weird story, but like my first like encounter with like how society views body hair was when I went to my cousin's wedding when I was like 10 years old, and I was one of the bridesmaids, so we were all
Shit,
dressing. Oh, it's frozen? It's freezing?
were we frozen?
I think so. But yeah.
Okay,
So
so
where was I? So we
your
were all
your first
getting.
encounter.
Yeah, so my first encounter with how people view body hair was when I was like 10 years old and I was a bridesmaid for my cousin's wedding, and we had all decided that we're going to get dressed up together at the same house, and there was a bunch of us in the same room getting dressed, and I just remember one of my cousins pointing to my armpit and saying, Sharanja, that's disgusting. You need to shave that right now. And they actually ran into the washroom, got a razor for me, and told me I had to shave it. But the thing is, like, that was the first time anyone ever told me that, like, I had to shave down there. My mom didn't never told me to do that, and I was and
Yeah.
to be honest, like, this was when I first got like body hair outside of my upper lip hair. Like this was just when I hit right around the time I hit puberty. So and like my mom never forced me to do anything. So like and no one ever told me I had to shave down there. So like they actually came out with a razor and say you're shaving that right now before you go out. And I'm like it made me feel so embarrassed because it was like a room full of girls who are my age, and I felt like oh, there was something wrong with me because they all had like smooth underarm hair and mine was just like a baby bush down there.
Hmm.
But that always like that kind of followed me throughout my life, because I'm like, if I whenever I wear like a sleeveless shirt, or if I'm like wearing a skirt, I'm always like, I have to shave it because I don't want people to see what it looks like when it's not shaved. So I just, because I don't want people laughing at me. Yeah,
Shalene,
so it's just,
are you one of those people who are like free the pit, where like they let it grow long and then they might even like dye it
I've
green
never
or
heard of people dying
bleach it
dying
pink?
that.
Yeah, it's like a movement where they're like, oh, free the body hair, so the grow their women will grow their pit hair out long, and then they might even dye it.
I didn't know that was a thing. But yeah, that was like my first introduction as to how people can treat you if you don't conform to like a certain ideal of beauty. And I was
But
10, by the
okay,
way. I was 10.
that you were around like all your cousins and stuff, you just see them all smooth. But did you think that you had grown hair and they had not at that point, or did you just think that like they were shaving and you didn't?
So I had thought that they didn't grow hair at all. Same, Shalene, same. I don't bother with that stuff in the winter. No, I need to
Shalina,
stay
it's
warm.
true. In the wintertime, like already as it is, like I'll only shave what is shown. If I'm wearing
Mhm.
shorts or something, then you shave that.
Mhm.
Other than that, why? Why am I shaving in the wintertime?
Mhm. This story reminded me of this Indian activist that I read about a few years ago. Her name is Harnam Kaur, and she's well known because she decided to let her beard grow. Like she has like a
Oh,
disorder where
it,
she has an excess
is it
of
PCOS?
testosterone. Pardon?
Is it PCOS that she
Yeah,
has?
yeah, and like it
Polycystic
causes like
ovary
excess of,
syndrome?
yeah, yeah. So it causes like a excess of testosterone in her body, so which is why she has more facial hair than normal. And it's been like this for her whole life. Like every time she would try to shave it, it just kept growing back, and people kept making fun of her and like terribly, and it got to a point where she was actually cutting herself. She wasn't leaving the house unless it was for school. And then something happened around the age of 24 where she just decided, I'm just gonna let it go naturally. I'm gonna accept myself for who I am. And now she's like a big Indian activist for women, and like looking the way that they are naturally. And yeah, I also think there's a children's book based off of her life as well. But it's a very interesting story in the fact that you see her journey and the way that she comes to accept who she is.
Yeah, and I see a lot of like, especially in the Tumblr days, pictures of her like all like done up nice with the flowers in the beard
With the flowers and the beard.
dress.
I actually think that one of the things that helped her accept herself, it was her religion. So at the beginning of her life, she wasn't very religious, but then around her early 20s, she found Sikhism. And one of the
Hmm.
aspects of one thing that they teach you in Sikhism is that like you shouldn't cut your body hair, like you need to leave it natural because that's the gift that God gave you. And I think she found strength in this community of people who believed the same thing that she did and were actually like praising her for being who she was. And that's another thing that we have to go back to, like finding that community of people who look like you and who look like you and have had similar experiences to you. It makes a big difference in the in the psychology of a child. Yeah, her story's amazing. Like her name's Harnam Kaur, so if you guys ever want to look her up, look her up. Oh. actually have another point to make. This is why I write down my notes.
Whispers will roar.
Yeah, and I have to say, the illustration in this book is so cute. Very, very cute.
Also, I liked how I have to take the thing off to show you. I like how they used these words.
Mm-hmm. They gave a little translation
and then
of some of
the translation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's written in is that Hindi, and then
I think it's Hindi.
because it's written in 2 languages. At the top, or I guess 3 languages. The top is a language, then English, and then another language, and then it gives you translation. So Mooch is mustache, Beta is child, Titli is butterfly, Nani is grandma, Tokia or Kaya is so what? Oh wait, I didn't even notice. The mom calls her a cat too. When she says, "Oh, you're my
out of
little
affection.
baby." Yeah.
I did some extra research on the author, and she's apparently a civil rights lawyer in the States.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Oh, it says that right here on the thing. Human and civil rights attorney in Atlanta.
Yeah, human rights attorney. I like able to take a story that she knew was affecting people from her community and make this wonderful, wonderful children's book. Because she also she went through this, so she knew from first.
I'll write
Kaur.
I'll write it here for you.
Yeah. Trying to get from her in the meantime.
So what we're saying is that
articles.
I mean, you can share your screen.
My computer might crash if I do that.
Yes. So what we're saying is that you should add this to your bookshelf for your children. I don't know what age would you say this is good for? I'd say probably like ages 4 to 8, huh?
Ages 4 to 8. Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, I got this quote from the author, so I'm going to read it out loud and let me know what you think. The second your kid brings it up, the way you react is going to be the way this child internalizes what it means to have hair, and that reaction is important. If they have a problem with the hair and your instinct is to bleach that shit right away, then that's now how they're going to grow up thinking about their hair. And as South Asians, the way our parents perceive us and react to us is held in such high regard. Yeah, I ditto that. I ditto that 100%. And I feel like a lot of the complexes about what I look like come from like older women in my family talking about like how about my skin color or just like the way that my nose is shaped. And it's like up until I had those experiences with these like older aunties, I didn't think about my nose or my skin color in any type of way.
Yeah, but what's wrong with your nose?
Oh, there's like there's a weird thing in like Sri Lankan beauty ideals where like bigger noses aren't really accepted as beautiful. Like you most of the time they want like smaller, more like pert noses.
I mean, I feel like that's how it is with black people too. As some people said, they don't want your nose to be sprawl off across your face.
Mm-hmm.
But, like for black people, the beauty standard is that you have a bridge, like your nose has a defined bridge, and that it's more slender, not like sprawl off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. Although like a big thing for me growing up was I never really had like issues with like having excessive facial hair, but I did have to deal with comments about people calling me like weird, not nice names because of my skin color. And this has happened
Hmm.
since I was a little kid, and sometimes people would think that they're being like nice about it, but it's those
Yeah.
people who their comments stick with you for the rest of your life. Like I had like an auntie who told me I shouldn't wear like bright yellow or bright pink shirts because it makes my skin color stand out more. Or get this. When I was a kid, another auntie told me like I don't know what she was trying to prove by
Proof.
saying this, but she said in back home I wouldn't have even spoken to someone who was your color. So yeah, there's a lot of complexes in the South Asian community when it comes
Oh
to
my goodness.
beauty standards for sure. And we need to start uplifting our kids. We need to start telling them appreciate who you are. It's not even just about how you look. It's about who you are on the inside.
That's so
Yeah, that's
sad.
one of yeah, and at the end of the book, that's one of the things I liked, the fact that like Lakshmi found that self confidence and she also spread it to her classmates.
I mean, I guess yes.
Yeah,
This
someone
this
get me a new
book.
auntie, please. No, you know what? I'm gonna be the auntie that I always wanted to be. I wanted to have in my life. Yeah, I'm gonna be the auntie that I always wanted to have in my life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, at least with this book, it shows how we can change the narrative, how we
Yeah.
can be like her mom.
Yeah, you can be like her mom and you can tell your kids that there's more than one option. If you have facial hair, it doesn't mean necessarily like you need to shave your hair right away. Like you can leave it be and have it still be beautiful. But if you also want to shave it away, there's nothing wrong with that too. It's just there's options available to you.
Hmm.
Anika, how did you find out about this book? Or was it me? I think I told you
No,
about this book.
no, I think we were looking for stuff. We were looking for
Hmm.
books, and it was suggested when I was looking at something. It was suggested, and then like I said it, and then you looked into it, and you're like, yeah, let's do that one. Because this book
Yeah.
actually only came out this year.
Yeah, it came out during the pandemic, and there was a story that the author was talking about, and she said that living through the pandemic made her realize that she doesn't really care about her body hair, like the fact that she can leave the house with a dress and not have to shave her legs, and she just tell people that like the salons are closed. I don't give a damn.
I feel
There's
like I'm
another
do my
story.
eyebrows though. I've been trying to keep the unibrow at bay.
That's fine too, as long as it's your choice. Um, There was another book that I read similar to this in terms of story, and it's called the it's called the eyes that kiss at the end. I think that's
Oh
eyes that
no,
kiss in the corner.
in the corner. Yeah, it's about Asian girl.
Yeah, so it's the same theme about this, but in that book it's about a I think a Korean American girl who's the same age as Lakshmi, but instead of being made fun of for her whiskers, she's being made fun of for the way like the size of her eyes. and it's the same sort of story structure in the fact that that little girl also goes to someone in her family, her mother, and her mother talks about how she looks like her eyes look like her grandmother, people, other women in their family who have managed to do wonderful things with their lives, and they have the same eyes as this little girl. So it's there's this common theme of like finding your community, or like finding people who look like you and finding the beauty that exists. And I have to say that one of the best things that I like about Bookstagram is the fact that you're being introduced to books like these. Whereas if I didn't have Bookstagram, I wouldn't even know that these books existed out there. Importance of community.
Exactly. I feel like I've been able to get a better sense of community online than in the real world.
Yeah, and I don't know
For
why.
example, shout outs to Shalina though.
Yeah,
She's
Shalina's
one of my
amazing.
my online community members.
Mine too. She's mine too. But no joke, her podcast is actually really,
Put your
really
foot.
amazing. Like I said, like I said before,
Don't leave
go.
me hanging.
Oh, here.
Finish the other hand.
Oh, I got it. I got it. Okay, back. Okay, I think I
Somebody,
got it.
somebody take a picture of this.
No.
Vivi,
Said-
Shalina, someone.
oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
Okay,
Oh
Shalina
my
took
gosh.
the
Also, so Shalina just recently did a poll where she got people to vote for either Body Break or Canadian Heritage Moments, and I'm like,
time
did
out,
people
time
actually?
out, time out. You know how that came about? It's because her, myself, and Adrian, Divi was just in the background somewhere, but primarily us, we were having this conversation, and Adrian was Team Heritage Minutes, and Shalina was Team Body Break.
No. Anytime I heard that theme song come on, I changed the channel.
You don't like Body Break?
No, but I was also a very
Hold on.
lazy child as a kid, and I.
Mm, she's removed. She's removed for that. This is Team Body Break over here. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you just kick me out of the chat, you jerk? No, I'm all about Canadian Heritage Moments.
Nah, we staying fit over here.
Nah, my staying fit was Lunette the Clown and her little clock movement. I was only about that. I swear I learned more about Canadian history from those little commercials than I did from social studies. About individuals in Canadian history, yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. And they made new ones too. I didn't realize that until I saw one with
thing
like
is-
Lucy.
the impact isn't the same because kids aren't watching TV like that, and like they don't watch commercials.
Well, what I think it is, I think this is just like teaching material for teachers. Like these are just things that teachers can use to show their kids, like, oh, this was a person who existed in history. Yeah, Lunette was amazing.
We got some Lunette love. Gregory, are you still out there? We'll big up the Beast Wars for you because I know you like.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Beast
Beast
Wars.
Wars too. Beast Wars. They had Beast Wars and they had like a sequel to Beast Wars as well. Both of them were really amazing.
Nah, but how about them house hippos though?
Yeah, I actually thought that was real. Beast machines. Beasties.
Mance is quiet, but we mentioned Beast
He's
Wars,
there.
and he's like, eh?
Anika, do you remember this song? It's I don't know what they were, but they were like these two little Muppet things, and they sang this song. Don't you put it in your mouth
Yes,
unless you
yes,
ask someone you love.
yes. They were
If
like
it's okay to eat.
little like furry. They weren't dust bunnies, but they seemed like
They,
dust bunnies. But
they look like dust
they're
bunnies,
like
but I don't
balls.
know. And it was a boy and a girl. Like,
Yeah, maybe they were germs.
could be. If you don't know just what it is, don't put it in your mouth. Round of applause for the most amazing performance right there. Yeah, Canadian commercials were amazing back then. Nika, do you have any like wrap up thoughts on Lakshmi's Mooch?
Go to your nearest bookstore and get you a copy. You can even get it on ebook. Support the BIPOC people them.
She's actually coming out with another book this year as well, and it has a similar theme of kids accepting their natural beauty.
And our next book will be The Vanishing Hat by Britt Bennett.
Britt Bennett. That one has gotten so many good reviews.
This was given to me for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only that far in. But it's good so far.
It's more of a comedy, isn't it? Like a dramedy?
No.
That's what I thought. Maybe I'm getting it confused with something else.
Comedy. I would say it's one of those stories where like span a great distance in time.
Oh, I think I'm getting it mixed up with Such a Fun Age.
Oh, sorry, Greg. I didn't know you wanted me to. Greg bought me this book as a part of my birthday gift.
Good job, Greg. Good job. A+.
Let's hope that the book's not trash.
I don't think so.
Basura.
I do not think it will be trash. All right, it was nice seeing everyone. Thanks for sticking around.
Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Anyways, yes, pleasure seeing you guys. Oh, sorry. It's been a pleasure showing our faces to you guys. Pleasure reading your comments and having you guys interact with us. We always appreciate and love it. And we look forward to seeing you guys again in 2 weeks' time. And if anybody's watching this on replay, thanks for watching us and supporting us on the replay. And if you like it, share it with people. And make sure to smash that like button and comment. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.